the other society will be happy to share as well. Right, let's let us get into it then. And so I'll hand over to John first, then John, you can kind of introduce things and then go through each of the societies.
Yeah.
We can go from there. Brilliant. Over to yourself.
Cool. So, my name is John, and I have a role that a lot of people are not familiar with in Oxford Drama, even some people who've been involved in Oxford Drama for a very long time. So I'm the University Drama Officer, which means that I'm actually employed by the university, by a specific board within the university, to oversee the drama activities across the university and across all the different societies. So I have regular meetings and conversations with people like Katie, Krishan and Harvey, who you see here, and with their different societies. I attend some of their different societies' regular meetings, committee meetings. And basically what I do is I help to advise and I help to feed back between the university and the student body about all the different things that are going on, which at a time like the current moment is lots, because obviously you need a mediator to be updating different committees on what the latest university policy is, or what the options are for funding, or to generally guide people who might have ideas for initiatives that could combat coronavirus through an outdoor show or a streamed show, and what the options are. So for students, I'm always available. You can see the email that I put in the chat, to answer questions. However, a lot of people might go to one of the specific committees first, like ALDS, TAFF, or Oxford Drama Society. But I am always there, and a lot of the questions that you ask to those other societies, if they can't be answered immediately, they will be fed back to me. And you'll see me floating around. I come to see a lot of shows, and I try to be as involved as possible, even if I am a slight remove, because A, I'm not a student, and B, I'm not actually in any of these student societies. So that was very convoluted, but I'm the University Drama Officer. Usually there is a new University Drama Officer every year, and they're usually someone who's just graduated. This year, because of things going a little awry, as you probably noticed, I'm staying on for a little bit longer. That might be anything up to a year. It might be slightly less than that. But I'll be around, and if any Oxford Drama does go back to usual, because at the moment a lot of it is not happening as would usually happen, if Oxford Drama does go back to normal, you'll see me at some of those shows. I mean, I guess it's probably worthwhile, before I hand over to the other people, explaining a little bit about what the situation with Oxford Drama is currently. Usually, Oxford Drama is the best theatre scene in the UK for students. So we have up to 150 shows a year, and there's a total variety in terms of genre, in terms of cast size, in terms of style. And so it's an incredibly, incredibly vibrant and exciting place to be. And a lot of work is being done to make sure that it can continue to grow, continue to improve, continue to diversify, continue to be representative. But it definitely is thriving. We have several different venues, as you guys might know already. We have college venues, for example, the Keble O'Reilly, which opens for 3 shows every term. We have the Pilch, which is open for roughly 7 shows every term, and that's associated with Balliol. And then we have other theatres as well, like the Burton Taylor Studio, which is a small studio space next to the Oxford Playhouse, which programs usually around 12 shows, 2 every weeknight, each having a week slot. We also have the North Hall that have a yearly show. The North Hall is based in Summertown, so it's slightly further out, but they offer a really, really exciting opportunity for kind of professional development, and definitely something for people who want to make a high budget show that might be able to really kind of catapult them into the world of professional theatre making. You also have the Oxford Playhouse. That's really exciting. The Oxford Playhouse is the biggest theatre in Oxford. I think it has a capacity of 600. Christian's probably better and can tell me whether that's correct.
650, I think.
Oh, 650, okay. You're just being pedantic. You're just trying to correct me on I'm going red. Oh. Anyway, the Playhouse is a really exciting opportunity. They usually do 1 or 2 shows a term, and that's definitely a huge budget show and needs a lot of preparation, and it's probably not for freshers so much as people who've already managed to kind of get a handle of Oxford Drama. But there's so much opportunity out there. However, since Hillary last term, we haven't had a single live show because government regulations and university regulations just don't really allow that, particularly in a non-professional capacity. And so at the moment, we're kind of starting to see a little bit of theatre. I know the O'Reilly has some shows without live audiences. I know there have been a few streamed shows. I know the Burke and Taylor, there's the possibility that some companies are exploring doing live streamed or pre-film performances there. But we're really seeing a slightly weird representation of Oxford drama and what it can be. And I kind of, my sympathy is for freshers who maybe can't jump in the same way that you usually can. The one really, really positive thing about that, though, is that there is a host of opportunities to invent new ways of making theatre and to do things from the comfort of your bedroom, to do things in new and exciting ways and to really push and challenge the form. And again, as I said, my inbox is always open. If you do have questions about potential projects, ways in which you could innovate, always feel free to be in touch and I'll try and respond as soon as possible. So kind of keep your thinking hats on, and hopefully we'll see some of the regulations start to be eased if the situation gets better with coronavirus. There's the ALDS newsletter, which I'm sure Katie will talk about. I also have my own newsletter, the UDO newsletter, which you can sign up for. I'll put a sign up link in the ALDS newsletter, which will be going out. Both of those sources are great ways to find out about changes and developments over the next couple of months, but hopefully we'll have an opportunity to put on and program some shows in Hillary or Trinity this term. So that's a bit about me. That's a bit about Oxford drama in general. That's a bit of a show of how bad I am at babbling, even when I'm on Zoom. Yeah, I will swiftly exit now and pass over to your three committee representatives. So Katie, you want to go first, Harvey second, and Krishan last? That's literally not like a hierarchy. That's actually just the order you're in on my computer screen. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, a little bit about your experiences in Oxford drama, and a little bit about the society you represent. And then I think what I said I'd do is I've got a few questions that seem like quite generic questions that should be asked, and then we'll just hand over to attendees who can post questions in the chat. To be honest with you, attendees, if you want to just post questions in the chat throughout and then we can try and like catch up with you and ask them as we go along, then do that. Katie, please stop me from speaking. Hit it.
Oh, John, I always love it when you're just speaking. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie, she, her. I'm in my third year. I study English at Brasenose and I'm here representing ALDS tonight. I'm the Freshers and Events Rep on ALDS, so you can get in contact with me with any questions about being a fresher in Oxford Drama, any questions about any of the events we've got coming on this term. And yeah, it's lovely to be here. I guess I could talk a little bit about what I've done in Oxford Drama. Yeah? Okay, cool. So I started in Oxford Drama doing cuppers, which normally is on every year. It's like our sort of introductory like way of getting involved. Unfortunately, it's not happening this term for freshers because of obviously everything. Corona times. That was terrible. But yeah, it's hopefully going to be on next term in a really exciting format. So wait for announcements about that. But I also sort of got here and like straight away just auditioned for loads of stuff and didn't get any of the parts, straight off because it takes a while. But then I started doing little shows at the BT. I mainly act. And then in my third term, I ended up directing a production of Twelfth Night at the Brasenose Arts Week, which is my college. And that was so much fun. So yeah, and I'd done a little bit of assistant directing the term before. So it's really about like getting in there slowly, just sort of going for everything, getting a few offers back, and then slowly like working your way into the drama scene more and more. And it's just, I find it's a really good way to meet people, yeah, make friends, also like find people who are making theatre that interests you and excites you. Like it definitely takes a bit of time. You'll probably do some productions that you hate or productions that you find stressful, and then you'll slowly like realize what your own style is and what your own like passions are in making drama. And I think for this term it will be really exciting that people are going to be having to be really creative with what they're making, and I think it will make everyone, I think definitely the companies that are going ahead with stuff, they're really thinking about why they want to do make theatre and why they want to make it online and or in whatever format they're doing to sort of get around the trickiness of this time. So I think there's some really exciting things on. So yeah, I'm excited for you freshers in some ways. It is sad that there won't be so much drama on as usual, but there are still auditions. I've actually been in touch with some of the people that are putting on shows today, because I noticed that on the AUDS auditions portal, which I will drop in the chat as I sort of go, which is how you book an audition for any of the shows that are going on in Oxford. Production companies will put up their shows and their audition slots, and then you can book. But currently the ones on there are fully booked. So I've just dropped it in the chat and you can have a look, but you won't be able to book any auditions at the moment because they are fully booked. But I was in touch with some of the producers and I've asked them to release a few more slots for freshers who might have only found out about the audition portal today. So basically the main way to keep in touch and sort of aware of what's going on in AUDS and just in the Oxford drama scene in general is to be in the Facebook group, which again, I will try and sort of multitask and find the link for you and drop it in the chat. But to be in the Facebook group is really important because that's where all the auditions will get posted. So these productions, Simulacrum and Orestes, are going to release some more audition slots very soon in the next few days, and they will be posted into the Facebook group. So that's your like best way of sort of being on it and finding out when there's new audition slots or crew call outs or anything like that. So there it is, the Facebook group. Please do join that. It'll have everything that's going on in Oxford Drama, really. Also, the AUDS newsletter, which I've posted just above, but I'll post again. The mailing list that's the way that you can join AUDS if you sign up with that link, auds.org, and with your uni email address. So like for me, it's katie.walton@bnc.ox.uk, the one with your like college and uni at the end of it that you'll have been given this week. Sign up for that and you'll automatically get the weekly newsletter, which has all the information about crew calls, auditions, things that are on, events. It's really succinct and really good. And you also become a member of AUDS just by putting that in. So that means you can vote in elections and things like that. So I guess just to round up and to sort of compensate for the lack of plays that will be on this term, we have released a term card, yes, John, with events. So we've got some really exciting events coming up. Lots of online ones to sort of be completely COVID safe. I say it weirdly, apparently, COVID. But yeah, to be completely safe. And we've also got one sort of go along to one of the social distance performances that is happening in Oxford at a really great venue called the Old Fire Station. So on our term cards, we have this week, in fact, we've got a really exciting event called Black Women in Theatre and Film, which is a collaboration with BAME, with Krishan, who's in this part of my screen, but might be different for you guys. So we've got Joan Iola and Itoja Halton, who are director and actor, really successful, working in the industry, really exciting professionals who are going to come and talk about their work, and a film that they've got in the BFI festival at the moment. Then later on, we've got a big event with ALF, who are OUFF, Oxford University Filmmaking Foundation, and that's all going to be about streaming theatre, so like how you can put on theatre productions but stream them. So hopefully there's going to be some really exciting more opportunities coming out of that. We've then got going along to Talking Heads at the Old Fire Station. It's the Great Alan Ayckbourn plays that are going to be on there. So it's a socially distanced performance. So it'd be great if you'd like to join us there, and there should be some AUDS representatives sort of saying hi. Then we've got some Netflix parties. which should be really nice just to like meet people and chat as we watch along to Birdman, which is one of my favourite films, and it's all set in the backstage of a theatre in one shot, and it's Oscar winning. It is a great movie, so I think that's going to be a real good fun one. And then West Side Story for the musicals fans, sing along in your bedroom whilst chatting away on Netflix party and watching it, so that should be really good. We've got a really exciting event in week 7 about drama after Oxford, so we're going to have some and that's with TAFF as well, so Harvey's Society, which is like the technical theatre, and like behind the scenes, all of that. So it's going to have some really exciting Oxford grads, who are going to be coming and chatting in small groups to anyone that's interested in working in theatre and film and TV after Oxford, after uni. So that'll be really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And then we're hoping to have a really special guest at the end of the term, which we are in talks for, and I can't announce yet, but I will hopefully soon. So yeah, those are some of the exciting events we've got on this term. There will be more announced as well, with Torch, who are the Oxford Centre for Research in the Humanities. Yeah, got it. And they host really, really exciting, I keep saying exciting, it's also exciting, but they host really great talks with amazing people. Like they just had one with Katie Mitchell, yeah, it was Katie Mitchell, and Ben Whishaw, who Katie Mitchell's an amazing director, and then Ben Whishaw, famous, he plays Paddington, he's a cool actor man, looks a bit like John, but but they did a talk together and it was amazing. Yeah, maybe me and John can be your Katie and Ben, because I share her name and John is just as beautiful as Ben Whishaw. So there we go.
Stop it. This isn't online flirting. This is a webinar. Keep
this
it.
Is a webinar. Oh God.
That was great, Katie. Any last points, or otherwise I'll move it along to
Harvey. Move on. I'm also waffling.
Okay, no, you're not waffling. That was actually gorgeous, and a really good summary. And all of this is creating a really strong picture. Lovely. Harvey, you go along. Also, by the way, if you see me typing in the background, it's not because I'm like, I don't know, mindlessly like watching Netflix party. It's because I'm writing up potential questions. Anyway, Harvey, you go.
Okay, yep. My name's Harvey. I'm president of TAFF, which is basically everything that's not acting and directing and that kind of stuff. So everything from lighting the stage management, dealing with all the props, the set, like even pyrotechnics we've done in the past few years. So we also have a prop store and an equipment store where people can rent like costumes, props and lights for shows they're doing, just if they want some extra stuff that they can't find themselves usually. And yeah, we've got people that have done it like loads before, and people that have just started out, or even actors that are kind of somehow just not found any shows that they want to do that particular term and get into it. So yeah, it's really kind of quite a wide range of people that decide to kind of come and join. My journey through TAFF has been not the normal one, just because I had a lot of experience beforehand, so I kind of jumped in quite quickly in doing quite a few shows. I think I'm over 20 shows already now at Oxford, but I definitely got great friends now that have literally started off by being assistants on shows, and that's, I think, the main way to get into things. Just being like, when you see a post, even if you don't feel like the role they're advertising might be for you, if you like the look of the show or have watched the show somewhere else and you just want to be involved, shows always can do with assistance, whether that's just assistance in lighting and pressing a button to make the lights change, or helping to source props and costume. Like, you could always get involved, even if they're not directly looking for someone to be an assistant. And then, so the way, like, once you got past that kind of stage and feel a bit more confident in doing things by yourself, we have the TAFF mailing list, which you can sign up to, a bit like the ALDS one. And calls will go out on that for any backstage role. And yeah, you just reply to them. Producers will try and get you on their team. They're always looking for people. And let me put everything basically can be found on the TAFF website. The link for signing up to the mailing list, all of our committee emails. So you can either email me with any questions you have, or a Freshers in Training rep will be happy to answer any questions. Literally was in your position last year and knows the whole process of going from doing very little to getting fully involved now. So it's a great resource. Just email us with any questions you have. I don't think it's much more. Katie summed up the term card generally. I think we have a few extra sort of virtual, we're planning on trying to do some like tours around the venues and how to use some of the major equipment that we have. But apart from that, we're doing the Drama After Oxford thing with ALDS, which is going to be great fun, hopefully. So apart from that, I think Katie's pretty much summed up everything else that I was going to say.
Thanks so much, Harvey. And again, I'm just going to reiterate, people who want to put questions for the Q&A section, keep posting them, whether that is for anything that Katie was saying and ALDS specifically, or for TAFF and what Harvey was saying, if you're maybe more interested in the technical side of theatre, etc., etc. Keep them coming. Now we're moving along nicely. We're averaging 10 minutes a person, which is gorge. Krishan, keep it up.
Hi guys, I'm Krishan, he, him. I am a 4th year undergraduate studying classics at Balliol, and I'm president, well, hopefully outgoing president of BAME Drama Society. We're a little bit different in terms of kind of both function and structure to ALDS and TAFF. And we're also a bit newer. We first came into existence about 3 years ago. And so just a bit about what we do. BAME Drama, it's got drama in the title, but that's slightly misleading because we actually work for and represent all kinds of performing arts. If you're a creative in really any sense of the word, whether that falls under kind of TAFF's remit or ALDS remit, or you're interested in dance or performing art, all of that is information that, or rather, all of that is activities that we can support, we can help out with, we can advise. And that's basically our function, to be kind of a sort of advisory body, supporting body, just helping out with really making creative projects happen in basically any form. So that's a little bit about kind of our function. The reason that we're called BAME is because we're very much about promoting ethnic minority creatives and ethnic minority narratives. What that means in practice is just that we care a lot about representation and diversity. Those are things that Oxford has struggled with in the past. And I mean, you know, as you might have seen or heard about in the news, Oxford is attempting to tackle that, and we're still in the midst of that journey. So we're just kind of something like a formal attempt to ensure that diversity is a very real part of the arts in our future, both within Oxford and kind of in society at large. And yeah, we're very happy to be working for you in terms of representation and just, you know, getting your ideas out there. Some stuff about me personally. So I acted a tiny bit at school. And when I say a tiny bit, I mean like photographers and trees, not Hamlet. I loved it, to be honest with you. I love the sense of community. I love just kind of, you know, larking about in the dressing rooms whilst the real actors are doing real acting. But honestly, like, it was a great experience from start to finish. But when I came to university, I decided I wanted to try something a bit different. And for me personally, I don't know, maybe Harvey's felt something similar, or Katie when she's been directing, but I really wanted to see what it was like having some control over kind of the creative projects that I was getting involved in. So I kind of almost fell into producing, and that's really kind of been my specialism in Oxford. So I've been producing a lot of plays, or assistant producing a lot of plays over the last 3 years. I started out as an assistant producer completely by chance, to be honest with you. I just happened to run into somebody who was looking for an assistant producer, and they said, well, come and help out. But I mean, I also took part in cuppers like Katie, and you know, started thinking about drama that way. It's a surprising amount of fun, especially because I had no idea what production was, what production entailed, what a producer does. They are essentially treasurers, in case anyone's wondering what producers do. They look after the money. And if you meet student producers, they're kind of veering between good stress and bad stress, hopefully more good kinds of stress. But it's really satisfying to see a project that you've helmed from the beginning kind of come to life, and know that you've been kind of an instrumental part in making that happen, in kind of like all of the little details. You get to know a project really, really intimately that way. But yeah, so that's been my route into drama, and I've been producing at all kinds of venues. I think I've either had an assistant production credit or a production credit in every single venue in Oxford. Maybe not Old Fire Station, actually. But yeah, I think it still pales to Harvey, I think, who is just a bit of a Superman behind the scenes. But yeah, no, so I've had a great time doing drama, and like I mentioned just at the beginning of my chat, I will be the outgoing president of BAME. I'm only going to be in post for another month or two, and you'll hopefully meet my successor, Michael, at some point in the future, and be hearing more from him about what we do. Just a bit about our activities for the term then. So as Katie mentioned, we've got a collaboration event coming up next Monday. Isn't it, Katie? But yeah, very exciting. And
it's Saturday now.
Yeah, Saturday now. Okay, great. On top of that, we've got other speakers events going on later this term, around kind of the end of October, beginning of November. We'll hopefully have a formal term card for you to look at on our Facebook, which is, gosh, let me see if I can pull off for Katie and get it in the chat. But I'll put that Facebook link at some point. So yeah, speakers events, auditions workshops. We're hoping to have one later on this term. More informal chats about drama this Friday. So 2 days time, we've got drinks, opening drinks at the White Rabbit, which is a pub just in the center of town. Lovely pub, great pizza. What will happen is they'll be very socially distanced. So you can message our Facebook page or send us an email and we'll book you in for a slot. Come over, meet the committee, have a chat, or, well, have a free drink, actually, because I think we're buying drinks. Our treasurer has allowed that. I know. And they said it couldn't be done. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff we've got going on. We're also working with, so another big thing that we do is funding. We help out with providing money to creatives, whether it's kind of small sums for, say, getting a film together or sending out film submissions, ranging all the way to kind of partially funding, say, a theatre project or a dance production. So yeah, send us emails and stuff about that if you're just at the thinking stage about ideas that you might have, or you've got something that you want to put together, don't know how to do it, all of that kind of thing. We're very happy to help out with. So yeah, I think that's brought us straight on to 7:30. So I'm gonna shut up.
Woo! Like a true marathon runner, you just paced that perfectly. Thanks, Krishan. That was amazing. That's only really sarcastic, but I actually mean it. It was amazing for us. What am I doing now? Yeah, questions. Yeah, so I have been typing a few questions, and they're quite weirdly worded because I realised halfway through I was writing them from the perspective of a fresher, which I am not. But I guess I'm living vicariously through those who I cannot see but are in this meeting. So my first question, and basically everyone, if you have different things to answer that relate to different committees, give it a go. You basically answered this, but I'm a student and want to stay updated. Where should I go? The Facebook page, the Facebook pages, the websites where you can sign up for newsletters. You'll quickly find, I think, in Oxford in general, that there's a lot of stuff on social media, which is like maybe annoying because we all hate social media and know that they're rotting our brains. But as soon as you get involved, you'll see people posting about opportunities. You'll see people posting about different things going on. You'll see events that your friends and people you know are going to, and that are shared by all the big committee pages. So I'd really, really encourage you to just spend like a couple of 10, 20 minutes on Facebook or Twitter or whatever is your social media preference, and just following some of these accounts. Sign up to the newsletters on the websites. I don't know whether there's anything else I can really recommend. Maybe speaking to the other thing to do is speak to people in your college who you know are really interested in drama and be like, could you send anything my way if anything comes up? Maybe liking their pages and adding them as friends, because they'll end up sharing things and changing their profile picture an absurd amount to advertise shows. So
we also have drama reps at almost all the colleges, so they should be posting in your JCR groups very soon. They might have posted about this event if they were doing their job that I told them to do very last minute, but they should be over the next few days doing a little introduction post in your college JCR, so they are contacts at every college that you can just get in contact with and chat with about drama. So they could be that person for you.
We also, if you're interested in a specific role, let's say you've done it before and just want to only do that, we have like role reps on our website that you can email specifically about that particular thing, and that person can put you in touch with people that are looking for assistants or producers that are looking for like those particular people a bit faster maybe than waiting for the mailing list for that role to come up again. So yeah, that's one way to kind of, if you have a one-track mind of what you want to do, you can get through to that quite quickly, easily that way.
And the other things that I would really stress is that what am I talking about? The thing I would really stress is that like those newsletters do actually advertise a huge number of opportunities. It's like, it's not just like, oh, this like rather rubbish and small show is going to advertise this tiny and kind of crap assistant role. Oh, why would I even bother? There actually are really, really good positions from all kinds of shows. So if you keep your eyes on the newsletter, there will be stuff for you. And moreover, what often happens is that almost always happens is that a team will get a number of applications and just like get you in for a coffee, try and have some sort of interview so that there is like a fair chance of you getting it no matter what your experience is. It's often just about knowing that you mesh with the play and mesh with the company. So definitely, if I had any advice, it would be always risk it, throw yourself in at the deep end.
Actually, John, I was just going to pop in there and linking to some of the questions in the chat. That's a really good point about there being lots of sort of assistant roles, and like someone, Liana, I think, has asked about, I'll answer it live. Liana has asked about doing dramaturgy in Oxford, and I think when we did our show, we had a dramaturg on it, but I don't think every show will necessarily have like a titled role of dramaturg, but especially assistant directing, like Gabe is asking about, assistant directing, assistant producing, anything that's like assistant or just being on the team of shows will get you into a sort of dramaturgy role, or like just basically being a person to work on the production and really get involved. Obviously there are slight differences between AD, AP, whatever assistant you are, ASM maybe, but all of those things will really, ASM meaning assistant stage manager, Harvey's sort of thing, but any of those assistant roles will really like just get you into the team and the world of it all, and like you can learn so much. I know when I did assistant directing for the first time, I was helping out on all sorts of things, and it really taught me a lot, and you just get to like sort of meet the director and the actors and everyone in it, and I then went on to make different shows with the people I met on that thing. So I'd say if you're interested in dramaturgy, you're interested in assistant producing or directing, definitely look on the newsletter, as John says, look on the Facebook group for anything that says we're looking for a crew in any sort of way. Or if you see a play that you think is really interesting, like if there's auditions being advertised or even anything really about that play, and you think that's my sort of thing, I want to make that sort of theatre, just get in contact with the team and be like, hi, I love this idea, I'd love to help out, and people will be so happy to have you involved. I think yeah, if you show enthusiasm like that, just they'll love it and go for it. And I think maybe just on the dramaturgy question, there's a really great society that we represented on our Freshers Fair today called State of the Arts. They're quite new. They were set up like last year or something by some students, and they sort of focus on new writing in Oxford. And they, this term and even last term when we weren't even here in the city, they did some really amazing Zoom like read-throughs of new writing. So if anyone's interested in new writing, get in touch with them. They have a great Instagram account. I think it's State of the Arts Oxford, or also I'll find it and put it in the chat in a second, or their Facebook, State of the Arts, and they host these regular readings and workshops on new plays. So if if you're interested in dramaturgy and working out what it is to put on a play or how you want to, they're the perfect sort of people for you as well, and you can meet people who are going to make this through them. good for ADing as well.
One of the things that's come to my attention, thank you, Katie, for starting answering some of these questions that people have asked. One of the things that's come to my attention is people might not know what the different roles in a company or crew are. So maybe it'd be cool if people just could come up with like a little list of roles and what they are. So you obviously have a director who leads a show. Often they're the person who might conceive of a show first thing, but they will always be the ones running the rehearsals and obviously involved in the artistic vision of the piece. And they definitely have assistants very frequently. Producers work very closely with the directors, and Krishan's already spoken a bit about what producers do, but they're really an administrative lead who's able to kind of collaborate with the director to make their vision work. You often have in Oxford for almost all shows a marketing manager, and they will also often have assistants, and the marketing manager will just be the person who coordinates the design of posters, making of trailers, which is something that happens quite a lot, any like events that might occur. And again, you might find, particularly with big shows, that they're looking for assistants. So if you see a Playhouse show or whatever, it might be a really good idea to contact the producer of that and say, look, is there any chance you want someone who's an assistant marketing director? You could be someone who's a head of the social media for the company, you know, yeah, that kind of thing. Harvey, do you want to talk about, you also have designers, set designers, costume designers, all of that kind of shebang to work on the kind of aesthetics of the production. Harvey, do you want to talk about some of the technical roles?
Yeah, so as you said, there's kind of multiple kind of groups. There's the designers who will usually be the ones that both design the show and sort of take the artistic vision that the director has and bring it to a more realistic, what can we actually do within the space and with what we have. And quite often those designers will go on to be both the people for a set designer that would help build the set or lead the build of a set. For the lighting designer would end up actually running the show's lights during the show as well. But those designers will quite often get assistants on to do those specific things, like run the show during show week. As a lighting designer and a sound designer, you quite often will get assistants on to do those things. And it's a great way to learn from the people that are already doing it, and from the people that you may have gone to see a show and you're like, the lighting design on that was amazing. I want to like specifically learn from this one person or their one style. And it's a great way to do that specifically. And in terms of like a more niche one is production management. It's kind of takes away some of the responsibility from the producer. So they're usually on the larger shows, so bigger venues. And they take away some of the management responsibility from the producer for the tech side of things. And they help organize the tech team for both the design, from the design stage all the way through to getting it actually working. So yeah, and for some small shows that kind of is integrated within the producer role. But for those small shows, it's usually not that big of a commitment in terms, most people are organized enough to get their own thing done. Yeah, I think there's a few other questions in, John, if you have you got.
I might chip in there.
I've got them up. And one of them that I want to, sorry, two of them I want to answer straight away. Walida talks about not having a JCR, and is there a rep for Wolfson College? Oh, Katie, you can answer this one. Go ahead.
I was just typing an answer to this one. There's no rep for Wolfson. Really sorry, Walida. But I can be your rep if you have any questions. Just email me. I'll put my email in. We also, because Wolfson is a graduate college, if I'm not wrong, and we have a really great postgrad rep on OUDS called Mina, and I'm just finding her email to put in for you.
Also, so that postgraduate rep is what I was about to say, and that also applies to anyone who's in a postgraduate college out there, or who's just a postgraduate and wants to have any kind of support that's tailored to postgraduate lifestyle. The only other thing to add is that the treasurer of OUDS, Anna, is also Wolfson, and she is one of the people that, if anyone knows anything about Oxford drama, it's not me, it's her. So definitely get in touch with Anna Pagu, and her producers, her email as treasurer of OUDS will be on the OUDS website. Is there a drama society more specifically focused on assistant producing and directing? No. So there are three, there are other societies that are to do with certain genres and maybe kind of that cross the line of being a society in a company, like the Oxford Review, which does comedy shows. But the three main dramatic societies are TAFF, represented by Harvey, which is the technical side, BAME, represented by Krishan, and OUDS, represented by Katie. And within all of those societies, there are events that are organised for specific people within Oxford Drama. So there are going to be potentially events for directors or producers. I know in the past there have been surgeries, and at the alumni event there will be a producer and a director who can talk about their experiences. And again, the main thing is to just go on those mailing lists and look at, kind of filter through all the opportunities coming through and think about what is best for you. One of the questions that I've written down is about how to approach Oxford Drama as a director or a producer, because unlike some of the other roles, if you really want to lead a project, you kind of have to conceive it and kind of go at it on your own first of all. So it's kind of a weird position to be in. However, there's loads and loads of guides on the ALD's website about how to set up a show. What you have to do is obviously think of the show that you want, check that the rights are available. If it's something that has been written before, it's not a piece of new writing, and it's something that is less than 70 years old. Check that. Then after that, you need to get a team together. So the team could include some of the roles that we've spoken about. And again, guidance is on the ALD's website, but in general, you want a producer, a director, a designer, a marketing manager, and a lighting designer or a lighting and sound designer. Once you've got that role, you've got a company. You can register a company on the ALD's website. Again, all of this is on there and is written out probably much clearer than I'm saying. You can register that company, and then once you register that company, you're open to bid. So every term, usually, it might change depending on coronavirus, but every term, theatres will open up bids. Again, those will be advertised through the emails. And you'll see them. If you decide to bid this term, you might go ahead and jump on the opportunity as soon as it comes up. However, if you don't bid this term, you'll see them and know when abouts they'll be coming next term and in Trinity. They're usually around 5th week. When you bid, you put together a document, a kind of proposal of what your show will be with details of all the casting, all of their crew members. And then you basically pitch the show to the venue, and there'll be an interview. And if you get it, you can then proceed from there to sort the show out. That leads to the question of funding. Again, in the email, you'll see a huge number of funding opportunities from colleges, from different funding bodies and societies like the Cameron Mackintosh Fund, like ALD itself. And all of those funding opportunities will help you to raise money to pay for all the parts of your show that need to be paid for. So that's kind of like a bit of an introduction to how to start up a show from scratch. But it may sound confusing now, what will help is all of the information on the ALD's website, and even just getting familiar with Oxford Drama through the newsletters, through the stuff you see online, through asking questions to any of us. Cool. So that was that one. I'm slightly losing track of the questions. Work-life balance. Yeah. Obviously, doing drama is a commitment, and it will include a lot of rehearsals. Some of them can be quite long, and during performance week, you might be asked to work like quite a large number of hours. However, directors are expected to be responsive and responsible concerning the needs, both emotionally and in terms of their work commitment, of any member of cast and crew. So it really is a conversation that you can have with people that you're doing a show with. It's not just you've signed up for this and now you've got to ride it out and you've got to, show up to every session. It's very, very much okay for you to be absent at some rehearsals as long as you tell people in advance. And it's very, very okay for you to signal that there are certain rehearsals you can't go to, maybe because you are feeling overworked or overtired. Harvey, do you want to answer, particularly because this is especially about Tech Week?
Yeah, Tech Week especially is always intense, as anyone knows that's ever done a Tech Week. But for instance, we've just put out our new welfare guidelines for this year that has a lot more detail about specifically like how you can kind of have that conversation with your producer, and it's within the producer and director's responsibility to both manage the cast and crew's kind of time in a fair way, depending on kind of, and that's also why we have why people want to get a lot of assistance on, because it just reduces everyone's time commitment as a whole and gets more people involved in general. And it kind of links into the other question about like being involved in multiple shows, where especially with people that are doing smaller things or have got to a stage where they're very comfortable doing something. I know people that have done multiple shows in a term. I did 5 shows in one term once. That was not good for my degree. Do not do that. But you can do like 1 or 2 probably as a cast member, I've seen cast members that have done sort of a small sort of side character role in one show and then a larger role in another. And people do find ways to balance that against their degree. It depends on your degree, of course, but people do find ways to make it work, and especially because directors are so open to having sort of that conversation about when are you available for rehearsals and stuff. If you aren't free then or this time, so it's more of a discussion. But yeah, you can always find a way around things. Just don't seriously overcommit. Pick like one or two things usually.
And the other thing I would add is that you have a lot of time at Oxford. You have minimum 3 years. And I think there's this sense that you have to do everything at once and you have to do multiple shows at once. But like, give it time to try stuff out. I think I did one show in Michaelmas. I did one show in Hillary in my first year. And then in Trinity, I decided to do 3. I was acting. And actually, it was far more manageable doing those 3 in my last term of first year because I had got a sense of the pace I needed to be working at. And because I was more familiar with not just drama, but also my academic work and how much I needed to do with that and how much I should expect of myself. So don't feel you need to rush in. It's perfectly okay to take your time. Some people don't do anything until 3rd year. Like, it's literally okay. And one of my other questions was, do you need to jump into drama straight away? And the answer is just no. You can window shop as many societies, as many kinds of extracurricular activity as you'd like. And I really, really don't think that you should believe that drama will be hostile to you or that you'll be excluded from the clique if you don't sign up straight away. So really don't worry about taking your time with it. A question to Jocelyn, you said our singing groups and other music groups part of Oxford Drama Umbrella. So kind of no, because there are separate music societies. One of the problems with Oxford is it's so decentralized, so it kind of functions like an ecosystem with hundreds of different groups and societies. And Oxford Drama only has a few. Oxford Music has a huge number, but they do have something similar to OULS, which is ALMS with an M, Oxford University Music Society. And they function as kind of one of the central music bodies and definitely would be happy to help. So if you look up them, go on their website, see if they have any newsletters you can sign up to and any email addresses you might want to get in contact with. You can definitely speak to them to ask a similar question and see what direction they might point you in. I might also add that musicals are represented in Oxford Drama. So you'll definitely see call outs for orchestras potentially for some musicals, especially if they're happening in a big venue. And definitely don't be afraid to get involved in singing. Because what you might find is that you might have a passion for acting, which is, you didn't know about. But once you get up there on the board and start singing, like a Stephen Sondheim song, you might discover that you actually love drama as well. Harvey, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that front, a lot of the people that are in those a cappella groups do a lot of the musical theatre as well. So if you are more interested in the musical theatre side of...
Oh, Harvey. It's experimental. It's an experimental performance. We're loving it. Okay, we'll come back to you, Harvey. Hannah, struggling to set up a Facebook account. Can I still stay up to date? Yeah, you can 100% stay up to date. Think about checking out the newsletters, which you can sign up to on the websites of all of these societies. So absolutely don't worry. And it's totally fine to not have social media. I emphasized it earlier because it's a really good resource, but I wouldn't worry if you don't have it. I don't know whether anyone else wants to add anything onto that about not having Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I didn't really use Facebook before university, and I don't really use it much now. What I found is that it's fairly, it's a little bit annoying just because Facebook is often a very centralized location, and because it gives you notifications, it means that things are always coming to you. But the flip side of that is that it's very much a case of if you don't have Facebook, you can pick and choose exactly how much you want to be involved with. So you can be reading newsletters, but also more generally just be looking up companies and checking the OULS portal, or emailing people like TAFF and BAME and talking to them about opportunities. I think this is the case for TAFF as well, but we certainly advertise things that are BAME projects. So stuff that workshops that we're running where we can give you experience, or we were planning a showcase this last year that got cancelled by Rona, and fingers crossed we can put it on this year. But like I say, there are other kinds of opportunities that will be advertised outside of Facebook. And to be honest with you, most Facebook opportunities are not advertised solely through Facebook. They're normally advertised through email. They're normally on websites here and there. So it's definitely very possible to stay.
Everything that's on Facebook is on the email as well.
Yeah.
If not more things on the email, because some production companies will only post on the email. So as long as you're on the email, you're going to have everything anyway.
Yeah, definitely don't stress about social media. Also, they're stealing your data, so screw them. We don't like that at all. Okay, do a lot of grad students get involved, says Lauren, especially if they're here for 1 year? Yes, they do. So very normative comment from me earlier saying you're here for at least 3 years. You might be here for only 1 year. But you can definitely get involved still. That's a huge amount of time. And I don't know whether you might have been involved in a drama society at your undergraduate university, but we're definitely going to welcome you open arms. And there's a huge number of opportunities. And I know a lot of postgrads, for example, Anna, but a huge number of others who've been involved in all positions. So I really, really wouldn't worry about that at all. Just throw yourself in and make the most of the time while you're here.
Do get in touch with Mina or Anna, Treasurer and Postgrad Rep on the website. They are great. They're really great.
Yeah. Anecdotally, I've personally had kind of assistants or kind of like people doing like tech stuff for me who have literally just been here for 2 terms, who've just come in as part of like a study abroad program or whatever. So definitely time is not a barrier. Yeah,
100%. And I know that there are people who that have gone on to do like really amazing things, just even if they can't do drama whilst they're here, building networks, meeting people and doing drama elsewhere, having been here. And observed and taken in all that they can. And we've got 6 minutes. If anyone else has any questions, keep them coming. I'll just run through some more of these. What are the current regulations about coronavirus? This is really, really important, and I'm gonna send a link. So essentially, there is specific regulations about what can and can't be done in rehearsals and in performances during the pandemic. And those regulations are available online. They're available on the student life section of the university website. They're also available on the COVID-19 section of the ALDS website. That's in resources, I'll send that link now. And I know that TAFF are developing some of their own coronavirus regulations to do with the technical side. And those will be on the TAFF website, I believe.
Under the welfare page, yeah.
So I'm going to, Harvey, could you link those while I link these COVID-19 resources here? And as you can see, it's really, really thorough. There are risk assessments for when you're in a new venue and when you're rehearsing. There's a welfare document about some of the welfare and access implications of coronavirus and doing everything over Zoom. And there is a very long rehearsal document which just bullet points all of the things that you need to match. And there's also some information about funding during the time of coronavirus, because obviously that is a little bit more tricky now. And so all of that information is there, and it's really, really useful. It's really, really thorough. It will also be updated. It took us a long time to catch up with this virus as Oxford Drama, but you're lucky you're coming in at the moment when we are up to date, and we will continue to be up to date. So definitely just check out those pages. And if you do have any questions about what is and isn't possible, especially if you're a director or a producer setting something up, as I said, you can get in contact with anyone here. Katie, you are going to answer this live. Hit it.
Yes, Brook students are definitely allowed to get involved. We'd love more Brook students to get involved in Oxford Drama, because it's, it's Oxford, it's everywhere. I did a play in first year with a brilliant dancer and choreographer from Books, and you see them popping up a lot. So definitely get involved. I think we'd all like, as ALDS and Oxford and everyone, would like to have more involvement with Brook's drama. So yeah, please.
I just wanted to follow up your points about COVID and say that if you want kind of more focused advice, or you want to talk about COVID in relation to funding and things, as always, just kind of like email any one of the societies and they can like talk you through like more focused stuff. And I just also like to add, we've got welfare and diversity statements and conditions really that kind of people can be reading through alongside COVID. These were obviously in place before COVID and have been updated a bit because of COVID. Again, email if you're unsure or whatever, or kind of like this is your first time, you don't really know kind of head from tail. Just kind of reach out and keep checking the sites, and you'll get something on in no time.
Ben, I can see your beautiful face. I'm reading the latest question. Should I answer it or should I let you finish up? Okay, I'll answer. I'll be super quick. You need to have your dinner. We all do. Hamza says, what about someone who wants to start acting? Are you guys planning something new, something for new starters? So yeah, usually we do have a freshers drama fair, which includes all of the audition stuff. There isn't something like that this year, because obviously freshers fair either have to be in the Sims freshers that Ben has been so stellar at setting up, and sadly I do not have the resources to set up. Usually they're in the Oxford Playhouse, but we obviously can't do that physically. So I think I would suggest that this is a really good starting point to ask questions about acting, and I hope some of you have got some answers. Other than that, the first port of call is those auditions, the audition page that Katie posted earlier, the newsletters. Katie's putting her hand up. I don't know whether you want to say anything else.
Really quick.
Yeah.
We are hoping in the next term or this term to have an event about like how to do a monologue, how to prepare, you know, just start acting in general. So look out for that on the Facebook page.
We'll be having one as well this term.
We're definitely really aware of the fact that you guys are at a disadvantage as a kind of cohort, because you haven't had the same kind of opportunities that people might have had usually to kickstart Oxford drama. But we will cater to that, and we see you and we hear that question, and we'll make sure that that's answered ASAP. Ben.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. You're absolutely bang on time. So thank you so much for getting involved. Thank you very much, John, Harvey, Krishan, and Katie, everyone for watching, and thanks so much for getting involved in our fair. We've had loads on today, and just a reminder that the fair is now pretty much closed in about 10 seconds time, but the live chats won't be available, but you'll still be able to go back into the fair anytime for the next 30 days to have a look around and pick up any resources. And don't forget to make sure your swag bag is emailed to you, so you've got all those tasty links and documents to be able to look back on, and you've got all the links in this chat as well, and I'm sure the team will post in the Facebook event for this as well, so you've got those links as well. Thanks very much. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks to our panel as well, and we look forward to seeing you at some Oxford drama very soon. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.